All right, folks. So going on with this Corvette project, there's a million decisions you have to make on every project, and one of the decisions we had to make on this one is stock chassis or aftermarket. And we're going with the stock chassis for two reasons. Number one, I've only got so much money to fund a project I'm giving away. And number two, when we had this car taken apart and we looked at the chassis looked almost new. And so I hate not using a perfect original part. And the reality is the stock chassis were really well made and very, very strong. So you're not gaining a lot in terms of taking a 65 chassis, throwing it in the garbage and buying a brand new one. But in order to make it a little bit cooler and allow us to do some things that we want to do, which is variable rate damping and fully adjustable coilovers, we decided to improve the four corners. So, well, actually, Dave, you got a minute? Come on over here. Now, Davey doesn't really like this project because he only wants to build stock stuff. And he hates LSs, he hates coilovers, he hates removable transmission cross members.
Rest of all mods, they could just go in the trash.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. In case his nose would be about a foot long and mine should be too. Davey, what do you think of this project?
This is a really cool project. This is really awesome to be able to do pretty much whatever it is I want to do as far as making a resto mod, all the latest and greatest, air conditioning, coilover suspension.
Wait a second, what air conditioning?
Well, we're doing a factory air conditioning.
And why?
Because it works better.
Because it works. Well, it doesn't work better, it works, period.
It works.
I am just not a fan of a lot of stuff that's out there, and factory 65 AC Roadster is just a very cool thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's all factory equipment, but we're going to have, what compressor are we going to drive it with?
We're going to run a Sandin compressor.
Right. So
a modern
LS
compressor.
Sandin compressor.
Yep.
So we're going to run 134.
Yep.
It'll be able to be serviced anywhere.
Yep. Absolutely.
What do you think about the suspension? So let's just step over. So these trailing arms, they don't look stock to me.
No, they're not.
Why is that?
Because these are RideTech's version of a rear trailing arm for a C2 Corvette.
So
C2, C3, they'll work on both.
So the geometry. Geometry is fundamentally the same.
Yeah.
But the strength.
Yep. The factory dimensions are all just as if once everything is bolted together, it was just the same dimensions all as factory. So
right. So we can run this. Now, are we running a transverse leaf?
No.
Why?
Because it's getting cool.
You noticed the smile? I don't know if you saw that. I said, "Are we running transverse leafs?" And he went. He just smiled. He opens up.
Nope. So this car will have fully adjustable coilovers on the rear with a damping control that will be mounted to something special that's going to be going here very soon.
Yep. That's going away too.
This will come off. This is a factory cross member for a GM55.
That's to hang the GM.
Yeah, the differential hangs on this, but this is just on here. It's coming off soon. We got something really special coming on here.
So this car is it's hard to argue that using the absolute best. Have we ever produced a car again in America as beautiful as a 63 split window?
Absolutely not.
I don't think we've even come close. Nothing.
No.
Has GM ever built a better engine than the LS?
Than the LS? Not in my opinion.
I don't think they have.
Not in my opinion.
What I do love about this project is we're taking the best transmission, the best differential, the best suspension, the best looking car, and then putting a lot of very cool
we didn't talk about what differential we're putting.
I know that. I just said the best.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that for the moment.
Okay. To be continued on the rear end.
All right. So what I think is amazing about what we're building here is you're going to be able to jump in this car with the modern conveniences you need. Power steering,
power brakes,
unbelievable brakes, air conditioning, and
all the
go
creature
down
comforts.
the road.
Yeah. 25 miles to the gallon.
Exactly. I mean, imagine driving the most beautiful car in the world and get highway performance of 25 miles
along
to the
with
gallon.
having
That's unheard of.
And along with having the reliability of fuel injection.
Yeah.
You know, you're not adjusting your carburetors for different altitudes. I mean, you're just jumping in it and you're going. You're enjoying a car that was beautiful back in the day, but with the modern convenience of today. You know.
And to put in perspective, say a 365 horse 1965 car. Do you know how many horsepower on a correct modern dyno a 365 horse would have?
At the wheels?
No, just at the crankshaft.
Oh, 300 maybe?
About 300.
Yeah.
You lose about 30% because of the change in the laws and the change they have to be measured.
And the tolerances are way different from what they were back then and what they are today.
So what do you think about taking 300 horsepower out and shoving almost 500 horsepower in?
I like it. And if you're going to do it on any factory chassis, it's got to be the C2 chassis. I mean, it's fully boxed in from the factory.
Right. So
there's no open C channels other than about 8 inches in the front,
which is not part of
6 inches in the rear.
Right.
But
that's all. That's all
in
inside
between the wheels
or outside of the four corners,
right?
Right. So it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So that's why, folks, I went to lunch with a man today, and he was asking me about investing in a Studebaker Avanti, and I said, very cool cars. I love the look of them. They were a James Bond machine the day they were made. I said, but the problem is you go build a Studebaker Avanti, you're going to spend more money than you will on a C2, and when you go to sell it, you gotta find an Avanti buyer.
Yeah, it's still an Avanti.
You go to sell a C2.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what a C2 looks like.
So for me, it's hard to justify. If I'm going to make a car investment, it's actually hard to beat a C2 Corvette.
Yeah,
it just is.
I agree.
It's got a glass body, which means it'll last forever if you don't ball it up.
Yep.
It's got breathtaking looks. The value of them.
It doesn't do nothing but go up.
A client of mine today, we're building a car for him, a 67, and he called me up and he said, Dan, I called this place and they've got a 67 that is an NCRS top flight car. And I said, so you're considering buying it? He goes, they want $690,000. He said, when did 67s become $690,000 cars? And I said, in the last 3 years, with so many people quitting work, and not building cars anymore, the ones that are out there that are properly built, the money on them is just going crazy. So I see this as not only a gorgeous car that anybody could love, but it's hard to beat it as an investment too.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. We've talked enough. Folks, you know I love C2s, but there's so many reasons. Oh, why are you doing that? Why do I see a cross member?
Yeah, so on the C2 Corvettes, the cross members are welded in. C3s, they're bolted in.
Why?
Because in the C2s had the power glide and the 4-speed transmission.
Right.
They were so little, you could get them in and out without removing the cross member.
So what happened so this is my cousin Vizzy. So tell me what happened in 68. What did happen?
Big transmissions.
Yeah.
Turbo 350 transmissions.
Turbo 400.
Or Turbo 400.
Both. I mean, both of them.
Well, both of them, yeah. And, they just got bigger. So they had to have a way for a mechanic to easily get them in and out. For service.
Right.
So yeah, I'm putting a C3 cross member in this C2 because of the transmission we have.
So it's just going to fall out of here, right? I mean, you just
no.
unbolt this one?
No. It's welded in.
How long is it going to take you to do this? Because this has been blasted. Of course, you're going to have to do all the fabrication on the sides.
Yep. And I got the other clips.
How many hours will it take you to modify this 65 chassis?
As far as cutting it out and getting the new one in and welded, not counting paint, it's probably going to be about a day and a half project.
Okay.
If I had to guess, 12 to 14 hours or so.
Yeah, you got $1,000, $1,500 just in putting this in. Doesn't count the price of this.
Yeah, but the next person that works on cars is going to love us.
Because, folks, we have had to pull, I
just installed the 700R.
4L60s, 4L70s. How easy is it to pull a 4L60
You got to pull the motor out.
You do. You got to pull the engine out of the front so you can get the transmission forward
far enough because this doesn't move, and that tail hangs out about here. So there's not enough room with the engine in it to get the transmission out of these things.
So are we trying to do things that are going to look out for the next guy who has to work on this car?
And us.
and us, because a buddy of mine, he had a good saying. He goes, just remember, the poor, stupid moron to work on that car next time is probably going to be you anyway. So
that's right.
Set yourself up for success.
Yeah, a lot of cool things happening with this car, and we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with it.
So hopefully it'll look different in a week or so.
We'll see.
All right, that's it. Thanks. Let us know if there's any recommendations you have, and no, I won't put electric steering on it.